I know you've heard this before. Why would a loving God allow all this suffering to go on in the world? With children starving to death and people being bombed again and pandemics going on, and even the good people are dying just as much as the bad people. Why would God allow all of this? Yeah, we've all heard that before. Is the universe that unfair? Is God that unfair? Let's talk about the fairness, or lack thereof, in the universe today. In their book, Life 101, the 1994 revised edition, Peter McWilliams and John Roger write this. What if life were perfect? What if you lived in a perfect world of perfect people and perfect possessions, with everyone and everything doing the perfect thing at the perfect time? What if you had everything you wanted, and only what you wanted, exactly as you wanted, precisely when you wanted it? What if after a perfect length of time you decided perfection is a perfect bore? What if at that point in your perfect world you noticed for the first time a button marked surprise? What if you walked over, considered all that might be contained in the concept of surprise, decided anything's better than perfect boredom, took a deep breath, pushed the button, and found yourself right where you are now? Feeling what you're feeling now, thinking what you're thinking now, and everything in your life precisely the way it is now, hearing this. Got it? Okay. Life as we experience it isn't perfect. And one more thing. Life isn't fair. How could it be? If it always tried to be fair, it would be taking from one to give to the other. But couldn't do that because it wouldn't be fair to the other. So it couldn't take from that one to give to this one because, well, it becomes obvious when deeply or even lightly considered that fairness to one is often unfair to the other. So the universe in its infinite wisdom operates without fairness to anyone or anything, except in one way. Life is equally unfair to all. Perfectly unfair to all. At least through surface appearances. Look again and see that the unfairness, the disasters, the suffering are all equally distributed. And so are gravity, electromagnetic energy, the beautiful spring days, the delicious fruits, the rain, the snow, the wind, the smiles. Everywhere we look, the unfairness is fairly passed out to everything and everyone. A loving and intelligent and playful, yes, playful, Creator has worked its scientific magic in such a way that the thinking creatures, like you and me, can figure it out, at least a little. But enough to get that when viewed from a loftier position, a position that steps outside of personal suffering for a moment, the world and everything in it is unabashedly fair. Adversity and advantage are poured out to all. That doesn't mean that the thinking creatures, that's you and me again, will be able or even willing to always recognize that. But there it is nonetheless. We, on the other hand, are not always as willing to be so fair. We often want and even take without giving back. And we ask silly questions like, why would God allow innocent people to suffer? Why would God create a world like that? We fail to look, to observe, to absorb the ultimate fairness of the universe, of life, of God, at least the God who is no respecter of persons and makes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust alike. That's biblical, you know. Life is allowable only through contrast. We recognize light only because there's darkness. We can experience great joy only because we can endure much suffering. We can relax only because we've been tense. Without its opposite, nothing can exist. Only through contrast can both suffering and serenity be experienced. It can be no other way. So take a moment to look deeply into your own heart, your own mind, your own life. See where you may have declared the universe unfair. Examine any resentment you may have experienced because things don't always go as you want them to. Now here's an experiment in fairness. Think back about, 4 years ago. The month is, say, August. You have been through a moment of personal trial. What is it? Do you remember it? How does it affect you in this moment? Is it intense, or has most of the emotional attachment passed? There's a good chance that you can't recollect a specific trial in August of 4 years ago in any real detail. Why not? Because you moved on for the most part. The universe has given you the ability to bounce back, and you have. Now, you may have a memory of a trial in August of 4 years ago, or April or December, but it can only affect you here in the present year, in the present moment, if you choose to let it. That's also an ability you've been given. Choice. It's an ability, a gift. Almost all of us have been given. Turns out, it's all really quite fair. The universe isn't plotting against you or lifting you up in any kind of special favor. Me either. You have the same opportunities, the same possibilities, the same mind and heart that can open up all kinds of opportunities and possibilities and avenues, if you make that choice. And that's pretty fair, don't you think? Yeah, it's all good. And so it is. Thank you again for being with us today. I want to remind you that Unity Gresham is now an official nonprofit charity approved by Amazon. So when you shop at Amazon, please support Unity Gresham. We get a little percentage every time you make a purchase on Amazon. I'm going to leave a direct link in the description below this video, so when you go to Amazon to shop, you can know that your church, your community, your spiritual refuge is being supported. All right? Thank you so much. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Namaste, which means the divine in me recognizes and acknowledges the divine in you.